Have you ever noticed that sometimes, no matter how many hours you sleep, you still wake up exhausted? There is a strange kind of tiredness that a comfortable bed cannot fix. It is a heaviness in the chest, a fog in the mind, a quiet, persistent ache that lingers beneath the surface of your daily routine. It is not your physical body that is aching, it is your spirit. You are dragging yourself through the days, crossing tasks off an endless list, waiting for a weekend, waiting for a holiday, waiting for a single moment to just breathe. But when that moment finally comes, the deep exhaustion remains. What if the thing making you so tired is not the amount of physical work you are doing, but the invisible weight of everything you are desperately trying to hold together? If you have ever felt emotionally drained, stuck on autopilot, or like you are running a marathon with no finish line in sight, this is for you. We live in a world that praises constant movement. We are taught to push through, to be resilient, to never give up. But in doing so, we ignore the quiet, desperate pleas of our own inner selves. We become tired of being the strong one, tired of holding the pieces together for everyone else, tired of worrying about a future that has not yet arrived, and endlessly replaying a past that is already gone. This is the pure exhaustion of mental resistance. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this profound inner tiredness comes from a very specific source. It is rooted in attachment. In Buddhist thought, true suffering and exhaustion arise when we cling tightly to how we believe life should be, rather than gently accepting life as it is. We spend vast amounts of unseen energy fighting reality. We try to control the timing of our success. We try to control how others perceive us. We grip the steering wheel of life so tightly that our knuckles turn white, terrified of what will happen if we let go. Imagine a wide, powerful river flowing steadily toward the ocean. If you step into the water and try to push the river to make it move faster, you will only exhaust yourself. The river moves at its own natural pace. If you try to build a dam with your bare hands to stop the water, the building pressure will eventually break you. The deep exhaustion you feel right now is the result of standing in the middle of the river of your life, constantly fighting the current. Think about your own daily life. How much of your vital energy is spent fighting the current? Perhaps you are trying to force a situation to work when it has already run its course. Perhaps you are obsessing over a passing comment, trying to rewrite a conversation in your mind. Perhaps you are comparing your current chapter to someone else's, feeling terribly behind, and punishing yourself for not being further along. This constant inner battle is draining the peace out of you, drop by drop. Ask yourself right now, what are you desperately trying to control that is actually stealing your peace? What would happen if you simply stopped pushing the river? Pause. Breathe. Observe the heavy thoughts without instantly following them. You do not have to solve the entire puzzle of your life today. Let the feeling of exhaustion rise without making it your identity. It is just a signal, a gentle warning from your soul that you are carrying too much. You can put it down, because true rest is not just about lying down and closing your eyes. It is about taking your hands off the controls. But letting go of control feels terrifying when you have spent your whole life believing that your tight grip is the only thing keeping your world from falling apart. And this is where the next truth begins. Here is a truth few people want to face. The tighter you hold on to your role as the strong one, the more deeply you suffer. You have likely spent years being the glue that holds everything together. You are the one people rely on. You manage the crises, you smooth over the arguments, you meet the deadlines, and you carry the invisible mental load for your family, your workplace, and your relationships. You have quietly convinced yourself that if you drop even a single responsibility, everything will shatter. You fear that if you rest, you will fail. So you keep pushing, Keep absorbing the stress of the world around you, and keep silencing your own need to pause. But this constant, unwavering vigilance is a heavy burden. It leaves you feeling hollow. You are running on empty, constantly pouring from a cup that dried up a long time ago. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that much of our suffering comes from a deep, unseen attachment to our identity. We attach ourselves to the idea that we must be the caretaker, the achiever, the relentless force that prevents things from falling apart. Buddhism reminds us of a very gentle, liberating reality. You are not holding the universe together. The world was spinning before you took on this massive weight, and it will continue to spin if you finally set it down. When we mistakenly believe that we are solely responsible for all the outcomes of life, we trap ourselves in a cycle of endless exhaustion. Imagine holding a simple glass of water straight out in front of you. If you hold it for a minute, it is entirely weightless. If you hold it for an hour, your arm will begin to throb and ache. If you hold it for a whole day, your arm will feel paralyzed with excruciating pain. The actual physical weight of the glass never changes, but the longer you hold it without resting, the heavier it becomes. The responsibilities you carry are exactly like that glass. The pressures of work, the quiet expectations of your family, the fear of letting someone down, these things may seem manageable in the short term. But when you refuse to put them down, when you carry them through every waking hour and drag them into your restless sleep, they become an unbearable weight. You are deeply tired because you have been holding the glass for years. Ask yourself this: what would happen if you simply put the glass down for just a little while? What are you so afraid will happen if you step back and let people handle their own struggles? Is this overwhelming sense of responsibility bringing you peace, or is it feeding your fear? Stop trying to carry it all. Do your part, then release the outcome. You do not have to fix every problem. You do not have to be the savior in every story. Pause, drop your shoulders, let the world carry itself for a little while. Give yourself permission to just be a human being, completely imperfect and entirely allowed to rest. Because peace is not found by finally managing everything perfectly. Peace is found when you realize you do not have to manage everything at all. But putting down the weight often requires us to give up the illusion that relief is waiting for us just around the corner. And this is where the mind plays its cruelest trick. What if the finish line you are running toward is entirely an illusion? We tell ourselves the same lie every single day. I will finally rest when this project is done. I will relax when I get this promotion. I will breathe when the weekend arrives. When the kids are older, when this stressful season is finally over. But the season never truly ends. There is always another task, another email, another expectation, another crisis to manage. As soon as you cross one finish line, another one appears just out of reach. We delay our peace for a tomorrow that never arrives, treating the present moment as a frustrating obstacle in the way of our future rest. This is the exhaustion of perpetual waiting. It is the deep, spiritual fatigue of always living 5 steps ahead of where your body actually is. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this endless chasing is a profound source of human suffering. In Buddhist thought, the mind's habit of running into the future pulls us out of the only place where true peace exists, the present moment. We suffer because we attach our inner peace to external conditions. We silently negotiate with life, believing that peace is a reward we must earn through productivity. But one of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is the truth of impermanence. Everything is constantly shifting. The perfect moment where every single problem is permanently resolved does not exist. Imagine a person walking through a vast, beautiful forest, staring desperately at a map. They are trying to reach a quiet clearing they were told exists just over the next hill. They walk faster and faster, completely ignoring the warmth of the sun and the sound of the wind in the trees. They are exhausted, their feet ache, and their breathing is shallow. But every time they reach the top of a hill, the clearing is nowhere to be found. The tragedy is not that they never reached the destination. The tragedy is that they missed the entire forest. This is how we live our modern lives. We treat life as an endless checklist, constantly striving for a mythical state of completion. We rush through our work stress, our family obligations, and our daily routines, completely disconnected from the present. If you wait until everything is perfectly resolved, before you allow yourself to rest, you will be waiting until your dying breath. The emails will always refill. The laundry will always pile up. The world will never stop making demands of you. Think about your own life. What condition are you waiting for to finally grant yourself permission to rest? Are you secretly hoping that one day the world will just stop needing you for a moment so you can finally breathe? Ask yourself, is this endless waiting bringing you peace or keeping you trapped on a treadmill that never stops? Pause. Breathe. Look around you right now, exactly where you are. Stop trying to force the current moment to quickly end so the next one can begin. You do not need to finish everything to be worthy of rest. You are allowed to rest right in the middle of the mess, because true peace is not a destination you arrive at when the work is finally done. It is a quiet space you carry with you while the work is still happening. But to find that space, you must recognize what is silently draining you from the inside out. And this is where we uncover the heavy cost of fighting reality. 4. The energy drained by resistance. What if the exhaustion you feel is not from the events happening in your life, but from how intensely you are fighting them? Here is a truth that is difficult to swallow. A vast amount of your daily energy is not spent actually living, it is spent resisting. We spend our days pushing away reality. We fight the truth of a relationship that is slowly slipping away. We fight the fact that we made a mistake yesterday. We fight the reality of our own limitations, our changing bodies, and the unpredictable nature of the world. We constantly whisper to ourselves, this should not be happening. And in that silent refusal to accept what is right in front of us, we create a massive, invisible friction. This friction drains the life out of you. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that pain is a natural part of the human experience, but suffering is a completely different heavy coat we choose to wear. In Buddhist thought, much of our deep spiritual exhaustion is created by our resistance to reality. When we refuse to accept the present moment exactly as it is, we create a state of continuous internal warfare. Buddhism reminds us that the world is governed by impermanence. Things shift, people leave, chapters close. When we demand that the universe bend to our personal desires, we exhaust ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable. Imagine a small bird that has flown into a house. It sees the bright blue sky through a closed glass window and immediately flies toward it. It crashes into the invisible barrier. Again and again, it batters its own fragile wings against the glass, desperate to force its way through. The bird becomes bruised, exhausted, and panicked. But if it simply stopped, rested on the sill, and looked around the room, it would see an open door just a few feet away. The bird's exhaustion does not come from the room itself. It comes from violently fighting the glass. How often do you crash against the glass of your own life? Think about your daily struggles. You exhaust yourself trying to force someone to understand you when they have proven they cannot. You drain your spirit trying to perfectly script a future that is entirely unknown. You punish yourself endlessly for a past decision that you can never go back and change. You are fighting the glass. You are battling against reality, hoping that if you just worry enough or push hard enough, the truth will suddenly change. Ask yourself right now, what reality are you desperately refusing to accept? What is the undeniable truth you are fighting? And how much energy is it costing you to keep up the fight? Pause, breathe, stop trying to force the door open. Let go of the demand that life must match the exact picture you painted in your head. Try saying to yourself, quietly and honestly, "This is how it is right now." Let that sink in. You do not have to like the situation. You do not have to be happy about it. But you must stop fighting the fact that it exists. Because peace begins the exact moment the fighting stops. Acceptance is the deep rest your soul has been begging for. But laying down your weapons and accepting your own life is incredibly difficult when you are still carrying the heavy, unspoken demands of everyone around you. And this brings us to the next profound truth. 5. The silent weight of other people's expectations. What if the exhaustion resting in your bones is not entirely your own? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable to face. Much of the immense tiredness you carry every day comes from holding up a version of yourself that was created for someone else. We spend our days performing. We twist ourselves into acceptable shapes to make others comfortable. We fear being a disappointment to our parents, a burden to our partners, or a failure in the eyes of society. So we say yes when our spirit quietly screams no. We smile when we want to weep, and we stay silent when we are desperate to speak. This relentless need for approval is a slow, quiet abandonment of your true self, and it is entirely exhausting. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this specific form of suffering stems from a deep attachment to external validation. In Buddhist thought, the ego desperately seeks the approval of others to feel safe and secure in the world. We cling to the constantly changing opinions of the people around us as if they are solid ground. But Buddhism reminds us of a fundamental reality. True peace can never be found by seeking harmony with everyone else while remaining at war with yourself. Imagine a beautiful, strong tree growing in a quiet forest. Now imagine that while it was still a small sapling, someone placed a rigid, heavy wooden box over it. As the tree grows, its branches hit the hard walls of the box. To survive, it bends. It twists its limbs, stunting its own natural growth, contorting itself just to fit inside the tight, dark space it was given. The tree may survive, but it is constantly strained, completely cut off from the light of the open sky. The exhaustion you feel right now is the deep, structural ache of growing inside a box built by other people. Think about the heavy roles you play every single day. The endlessly accommodating worker, the uncomplaining partner, the perfect friend who never asks for help. How much of your daily stress comes from the hidden fear of stepping outside the box? You are terrified that if you finally set boundaries, if you stop being exactly what everyone expects you to be, they will simply walk away. And so you stay in the confined space, slowly draining your own life force to keep others comfortable. Ask yourself right now, whose life are you actually living? Are your daily choices reflecting your true inner voice, or are they just echoes of other people's demands? What would happen if you simply stopped pretending? Pause, breathe, let the heavy cloak of their expectations slip off your shoulders, even just for this moment. You do not need to perform to be worthy of love. You do not need to constantly empty yourself to prove your value to the world. Let them be disappointed. Let them misunderstand you. Because true peace is not found by making sure everyone else is pleased. It is found by finally making space for yourself to breathe. But stepping out of the box and choosing yourself requires a difficult kind of bravery. It requires you to act before your body completely shuts down. And this is where the moment of truth arrives. 6. The courage to stop before you collapse. What if pushing through your exhaustion is no longer a sign of strength, but a sign of fear? We are conditioned to deeply praise endurance. We celebrate the person who never sleeps, the one who works through the sickness, the one who carries a crushing weight without a single complaint. But there is a hidden, destructive side to this relentless forward motion. When we ignore our deep inner fatigue, we begin to borrow energy from tomorrow just to survive today. You feel the warning signs, the sudden irritability, the quiet numbness, the heavy limbs, the desperate desire to just disappear for a little while. Yet, you keep moving. You tell yourself you cannot afford to stop. You keep pushing because, underneath the exhaustion, you are terrified of what will happen if you finally pause. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound importance of the middle way, a path of balance that rejects harmful extremes. In Buddhist thought, ignoring the suffering of your own body and mind is not a noble sacrifice. It is a lack of compassion for yourself. True mindfulness is not just about observing your passing thoughts. It is about listening to the quiet truth of your physical and emotional being. When we refuse to rest, we act with a subtle, quiet violence toward ourselves, treating our bodies and spirits like machines meant only for endless production. Imagine a wooden boat sailing across a vast, deep lake. Slowly, a small crack forms in the hull, and water begins to seep into the bottom of the boat. It is just a gentle trickle at first. The sailor notices the water, but they are so determined to reach the other shore that they refuse to drop the sails and patch the wood. They keep pushing through the wind. The water rises. The boat becomes incredibly heavy, sluggish, and dangerously unstable. By the time the sailor finally decides to stop and deal with the leak, it is too late. The boat is sinking. Your body and your spirit are exactly like that boat. You are taking on water. Think about how you move through your days. You are masking the deep exhaustion with caffeine, forced smiles, and sheer willpower. You are ignoring the quiet whispers of your own soul, hoping the leak will magically fix itself once you finally reach your destination. But the destination keeps moving, and the water is rising. If you do not gently choose to rest now, your body will eventually make the choice for you. It will force you to collapse. Ask yourself honestly, what are you trying to prove by running yourself into the ground? Who are you quietly destroying yourself for? What is your body begging you to do right now? Pause, breathe. Listen to the heavy ache in your bones. You do not have to wait until you are completely broken to justify taking a break. You are allowed to stop before you snap. You are allowed to pull the boat over to the quiet shallows and gently rest. Because true courage is not found in pushing yourself until you break. It is found in having the immense bravery to simply stand still. But standing still means you must finally confront the heavy reality of all the things you have not finished. And this brings us to the next difficult truth. 7. Making peace with the unfinished. What if the hardest part of finding rest is the crushing guilt of leaving things undone? Here is a familiar scenario. You finally reach the end of the day. You sit down in a quiet room, completely exhausted, and you close your eyes. But the exact moment your physical body stops moving, your mind begins to race. You see the unread messages, the unresolved argument, the cluttered room, the project that is falling behind. Suddenly a heavy wave of anxiety and guilt washes over you. You feel that you have not earned the right to sit still, simply because the list is not complete. This is the torment of the unfinished. It is the deeply ingrained belief that peace is a prize awarded only to those who have cleared every obstacle and checked every single box. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this torment comes from a profound misunderstanding of the nature of existence. We are taught to view life as a fixed series of tasks to be completed, but in Buddhist thought, life is an endless, continuous flow. There is no ultimate state of finished. Because everything is impermanent and constantly shifting, there will always be a new challenge, a new mess, and a new demand. Clinging to the illusion of a perfectly clean slate causes immense suffering, because we are demanding something from the universe that simply does not exist. Imagine watching the sun set over a quiet, open field. The sun does not pause its descent to wait for the farmer to finish their work. It does not hover in the sky for an extra hour because you are worried about tomorrow's chores. When the time comes, it simply sinks below the horizon, gracefully painting the sky with darkness. The day ends, completely regardless of what was left undone in the light. The natural world deeply understands that rest is not a reward for perfect productivity. Rest is a necessary, non-negotiable rhythm of life. Yet, we treat ourselves with far less grace than the setting sun. Think about the impossible expectations you place on yourself. You are endlessly waiting for the perfect moment to relax. You mistakenly believe that if you just work a little longer, fix one more problem, or please one more person, your mind will finally grant you permission to be at peace. But the clear desk is a mirage. If you tie your inner peace to your outward productivity, you will remain deeply exhausted for the rest of your life. The world will always ask more of you than you have the energy to give. Ask yourself right now, what are you still trying to finish before you feel worthy of peace? Are you waiting for a day of perfect completion that will never actually arrive? What would happen if you simply accepted that the list will never end? Pause, breathe. Look at all the unfinished pieces of your life right now and gently decide to walk away from them for today. You do not need to solve the entire puzzle before you sleep. Leave the expectations, leave the messy reality exactly as it is. Practice saying to yourself, quietly and firmly, "It is enough for today. I have done enough today." Let that sink in. You are not a machine. You are a living, breathing human being who requires stillness just to survive. Because true peace is not the permanent absence of unfinished work. It is the quiet, powerful ability to walk away from it anyway. But walking away from the unfinished is only the gateway. Once you let go of the doing, you must learn how to actually reside in the being. And this is where the final transformation begins. What if the deep, unshakable exhaustion you have been carrying is finally ready to leave you? At the beginning of our journey, we spoke of a strange kind of tiredness, that heavy ache in your chest that a comfortable bed cannot cure. We spend so much of our lives believing that if we just push a little harder, grip the steering wheel a little tighter, and carry the heavy weight for everyone else, we will eventually earn our right to rest. But as you have seen, peace is not a reward for endless endurance. The tiredness you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is a profound, quiet messenger. It is your soul gently tapping you on the shoulder, whispering that the battle is over. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true rest is not found in physical sleep alone, but in the complete spiritual release of control. When we finally stop fighting the natural current of our own lives, when we stop demanding that reality permanently match our expectations, the inner exhaustion begins to melt away. You do not have to hold the entire universe together. You never had to. The world will continue to spin, the sun will continue to set, and the rivers will continue to flow, even if you just sit quietly and do absolutely nothing. Imagine a deep, wide lake under a clear night sky. When the wind is howling and the water is violently churning, the reflection of the moon is shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces. If you stand on the shore and try to piece the reflection back together by smoothing the water with your bare hands, you will only create more ripples. You will only exhaust yourself further. But if you simply step back, stop interfering, and wait, the wind will naturally die down, the water will settle, and in that profound stillness, the lake will effortlessly reflect the perfect, unbroken moon. The lake does not have to work to reflect the light. It only has to be still. You are exactly like that lake. Your true nature is peace. Your natural state is rest. The deep exhaustion you feel only comes when you try to force the water to be still with your own two hands. Think about the heavy responsibilities you have been holding for years. Think about the silent expectations you have carried, the impossible finish lines you have chased, and the broken pieces you have tried so desperately to fix. You have done enough. You have been strong for long enough. It is time to let the water settle. Ask yourself in this quiet moment, are you finally ready to stop fighting? Are you ready to let yourself simply exist, without having to constantly prove your worth to the world? Pause, breathe, feel the solid ground beneath your feet. You do not have to solve every problem today. You do not have to carry the fear of tomorrow. Let the heavy armor fall gently to the ground. Trust that you will be safe, even if you are not in absolute control. Trust that the universe can hold you when you are too tired to stand. Make space for the stillness. Invite it in. Welcome the quiet relief of non-attachment, and let your weary spirit finally rest. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.